Welcome to Premier League Match Pack, your weekly guide to all the stats that matter. With 2017 underway, we've reached the mark of 200 games played so far. It's been a busy start to the new year. 62 goals were scored since our last programme, increasing the overall tally to 571. Of those, 54 came from the penalty spot. 4 were converted in the last round, the joint highest so far this season. While 6 of our teams registered clean sheets last time, meaning we're just one shy of the 100 mark.
Leicester City versus Chelsea, defending champions against a team many expect to lift the title come the middle of May. Sure to be an exciting encounter. Chelsea have a lot of title-winning players in their team. In 2014-15, Chelsea won nearly 70% of their games, finishing the season with 87 points under Jose Mourinho. Leicester, this season, their fairy tale seems to have come to an abrupt end, but that does highlight how well they did in 2016 by lifting the title. As for this current Chelsea team, their record after 20 games is better than the last 2 title-winning teams. They may have lost at Spurs, but only 2 teams in the Premier League history can better the total amount of points that Chelsea have amassed after 20 games. True champions respond in a good way. N'Golo Kante, naturally a huge loss for Leicester City Football Club, but what a gain he's been for Chelsea. Straight away you look at the stats and he's amazingly covering more distance on average than he did last season. He's combative, he gets his tackles in, his decision-making superb. The way that he breaks forward for Chelsea has been a bit of an eye-opener. We didn't think that he had that in the locker, and he's just slipped into that Chelsea midfield so seamlessly. What a player. The options for Chelsea are absolutely amazing this season. You look up front, Costa's been unbelievable, but then even, you know, when Costa's not playing, Willian's gone up front or Hazard's gone up front, and the options that they've got within this system have been superb. It's obvious that Chelsea have got lots of options going forward and can score goals from all over the field, so Leicester really have to be on point defensively wise to keep them out. The encouraging signs are they've kept 2 clean sheets on the spin for the first time this season in the Premier League. They look like they've got the #1 goalkeeper back, Kasper Schmeichel, who's been exceptional since he's come back into the side, and they really do look like they're a team again. They're working really hard, throwing the body in front of the ball. So if Leicester can keep it tight at the back and get Jamie Vardy running in behind, they've definitely got a chance. Chelsea will line up with a back 3, and the last time Jamie Vardy faced a back 3, this happened.
Through by Slimani. Vardy scores! Morris. Vardy's on his way. Jamie Vardy. Stones. His back pass invites in. Vardy on a hat-trick. Jamie Vardy with a hat-trick.
As good as Jamie Vardy was against Manchester City, he may not have as much joy against Chelsea, because for me, their back 3 do this to a T. They defend well, they get the distances right, their decision-making superb, and they communicate awfully well, and they just seem to know this system inside out. In my opinion, 2 of the most important players in this system are the wing-backs, and I'm not just saying that because I was a winger. Victor Moses has also adapted really well to this system. Not a big surprise to me because he did so well for West Ham, but more in an offensive role. Adding this defensive quality to his game has made him an absolute superb player for Chelsea. As we saw from the last time that Chelsea played against Leicester, you can see how much his width is important to the team. He drives inside, really positive on the ball. Good tempo change up there, 1-2, fantastic finish, and he just shows it from that one clip how important he is to this team, and not a bad back foot to finish it all off with. From Leicester's point of view, and I'm sure Ranieri is thinking about this, they need to deal with this system. Not many teams have been able to do it this season, but Leicester must find a way. In the reverse fixture at Stamford Bridge, they never managed 1 shot on target. It's going to be a really good atmosphere at the King Power Stadium. It's a perfect match-up. You look at the Chelsea side, they'll be quite happy to give up possession, let Leicester have the ball and hit them on the counter-attack, but vice versa, I'm sure Ranieri will accept that man for man, Chelsea are the better team, so they might look to do that as well. So it's going to be a cagey affair. I think the atmosphere will be brilliant, I think the biggest thing for me, looking at this Leicester side, is motivation. They've struggled to get themselves up for certain games, but for this one, I think they'll be up for it, especially against the league leaders, and it's going to be an exciting affair.
In putting an end to league leaders Chelsea's winning streak, Tottenham Hotspur recorded their 5th consecutive victory, maintaining their own title aspirations. After picking up back-to-back wins, Tony Pulis takes his West Bromwich Albion side to White Hart Lane in hot pursuit of European football. They sit just 1 point off 7th-placed Everton. After 20 games, the Baggies are in their highest position since 2013. A significant part of their success this season has been down to the fact that they've only lost 1 game to a team currently below them in the table. Incidentally, Spurs are the only team above West Brom who've been unable to beat them. They'll also be wary of Dele Alli, who scored against them in the reverse fixture earlier this campaign. The midfielder's been in impressive form of late, finding the net twice in each of his last 3 Premier League games, in the process equalling his total tally for last season.
Dele Alli is a top footballer. I mean, he's still really young. You have to credit Pochettino for actually having the insight and the courage to give Dele Alli a chance, but you know, what a player he's become in such a short space of time. He is such a natural goal scorer, drifts into the box late, clever with his runs, a clinical finisher.
West Brom have become unwelcome visitors at White Hart Lane, with 3 of their last 4 trips finishing 1-1. Back in 2013, Christian Eriksen momentarily gave Spurs the lead, but West Brom equalised just 2 minutes later. And last season, Craig Dawson scored at both ends, leaving the hosts 7 points off eventual champions Leicester, with 3 games remaining.
Now that Dele Alli has scored 20 Premier League goals after just 52 games, for our match-pack question this week, we'd like to know the 2 midfielders who reached that number with fewer appearances. As always, the answer's coming up later in the show.
Both Everton and Manchester City kicked off the calendar year with maximum points in the Premier League, gaining victories over Southampton and Burnley respectively. That win was a much-needed boost for Ronald Koeman's side, who'd endured a patchy first half of the campaign. Their form at Goodison Park has, however, provided a degree of comfort, boasting their best-ever shooting accuracy there since such data was first recorded, while only once have they conceded fewer goals per game on average in the competition at home.
Their form, Everton's a bit scratchy. I've analysed them plenty of times this season, and what they've got some talented players, but they're sort of, I call them toss of a coin players, where you never quite know what you're going to get out of them. But that's the reason why they're not consistent, because you don't know what you're going to get out of some of the players. But the home form's not too bad.
Ronald Koeman will be looking forward to his side's upcoming fixtures as they aim to chase down the pack at the top of the league. Of Everton's next 6 opponents, the Toffees lost to just 1 in the reverse fixtures earlier in the season. But some observers suggest their inconsistencies may already have done too much damage.
It feels like, if you're an Evertonian now, it feels like your season's done, because you're not going to catch Manchester United. So at some point, they've got to hope and pray that teams slip up above them. And obviously they don't want to be caught from teams below, so they don't want to slip into the sort of bottom half.
Pep Guardiola could be excused for being frustrated with his side's form over the busy festive period, losing to 2 of their title rivals as well as the reigning champions in their last 7 games, the same number of defeats they suffered in their previous 24 top-flight outings. City have kept just 2 clean sheets on the road this season, so Chilean goalkeeper Claudio Bravo will hope to improve on that. His addition was a sign of Guardiola's intent to field a keeper who was comfortable with the ball at his feet. Bravo has come out of his box to clear more often than any of his counterparts in the division this season, but has the lowest accuracy rate when compared to the league's other top sweeper keepers.
I played in front of, plenty of goalkeepers, and Bruce Grobbelaar was one that was terrific at his feet. He was probably 20 years ahead of his time, but fundamentally he's great in goal. So I think that's what Bravo needs to get, and that's what the City defence need to get, because at any given time, if that defence is breached and you're one-on-one with a goalkeeper at the minute, I always think Claudio Bravo's not going to make a save, and some of the goals that he's letting in are not footballing errors, they're sort of basic goalkeeping errors, so he needs to improve himself.
One man looking to test Bravo will be Everton's Ross Barkley. The England international hasn't had much goal involvement this term, but it's not for the want of trying. Barkley is, on average, creating more chances and taking more shots in games than ever before for Everton, but he hasn't been able to match some of the division's other playmakers.
People like David Silva and Coutinho, they're sort of like 5'7", 5'8", with a low centre of gravity and very sort of skillful, where Ross Barkley's 6'2", 6'3", so he's a bit of a sort of a beast, if you like, playing as a number 10. So he might be better suited playing either further up the pitch as a striker or out wide or a little bit deeper in the two. So it's hard for Ronald Koeman to try and nail down his best position.
Barkley didn't feature in the meeting of these teams earlier this season, a game in which his Everton side frustrated Manchester City at the Etihad Stadium. Martin Stecklenburg saved 2 penalties from Kevin De Bruyne and Sergio Aguero, either side of Romelu Lukaku's opener. But City salvaged a point through Nolito with 18 minutes to go. When it comes to these sides' clashes at Goodison Park, it's the home side who've had the greater overall success. City have had the better of their recent meetings, winning on 2 of their last 3 visits, though picking a winner this time doesn't appear an easy task.
This is a hard one to call because, as I said, Everton, you're not sure which team are going to turn up. The good thing about Everton is when a big team comes, the crowd are certainly up for it. The atmosphere is different at Goodison Park. Pep's side, again, you're not sure. They could turn it on against anyone. They can beat anyone in the league, but they can lose, and they can lose poorly. So I think the smart money is probably on a score draw.
Rooted to the bottom of the table, the challenge of getting Hull City out of the relegation zone will be tough for new manager Marco Silva. The first task for the Portuguese will be to address his new side's poor defensive record, especially as they've conceded more than 1 goal in 11 of their games so far this season. His influence has already been seen as the Tigers booked their place in the 4th round of the FA Cup last weekend. But securing their top-flight status will be paramount, especially as the side haven't registered a league win in their last 9 games. Their last victory came at the KCOM Stadium back in November, and this weekend they host a team who inflicted a 6-1 defeat on them, their joint heaviest in the Premier League. Charlie Daniels opened the scoring in that game at the Vitality Stadium earlier in this campaign, one of 6 top-flight goals he scored for Bournemouth, and he's also played a vital supporting role. He's provided 8 assists since the start of last season, more than any other Premier League defender in that time. The Englishman scored and assisted last time out, but the Cherries had to settle for a draw in their home game with Arsenal, despite leading 3-0 with only 20 minutes to go. Away from the Vitality Stadium, Eddie Howe's side have struggled all season, winning just 2 of their last 12 games on the road.
Despite a spirited comeback against Bournemouth in their last league game, Arsenal had to settle for a draw, which left them outside the top 4, 8 points behind table-topping Chelsea. Swansea City's 4-game winless run came to an end, but their defence will be high on new head coach Paul Clement's to-do list. The Swans have conceded more goals than any other team.
It's their defence. Swansea's defence is shocking, and they will have to buy in January. They have to get central defenders in, and you know, I'm a bit surprised Swansea went for Paul Clement. I thought that they, maybe should have gone for a Harry Redknapp type. I wish Paul Clement well, but he has got one hell of a job on his hands.
With their defence buckling under pressure, Swansea will require Fernando Llorente to maintain the form that's reportedly caught the eye of Chelsea boss Antonio Conte. The forward has made himself Swansea's seasonal joint top scorer in recent weeks, with 5 in his last 8 league games. Llorente will look to exploit an Arsenal defence that's been prone to giving away penalties this season. They've conceded 6 from the spot so far, a growing concern for Arsene Wenger, as his side had yet to give away a penalty at this stage of the competition last season. The Arsenal manager will also be wary that, in recent times, Swansea have enjoyed playing against his team, with the side's head-to-head record evenly balanced. In November 2014, the South Wales side leapfrogged Arsenal into 5th place as they came from a goal behind to score twice in 3 minutes, with substitute Bafétimbi Gomis heading the late winner.
Manchester United versus Liverpool. A fixture that always draws the eyes of the world, and one that has produced some memorable moments over the years. As these 2 giants of English football prepare to go head-to-head for the 50th time in the Premier League, who will come out on top on this occasion?
This is the game. It's the game of the season. It's the game of the season all the players look forward to. The rivalry is huge on the pitch and off the pitch, which is very rare. It's normally off the pitch where it's the massive rivalry. On the pitch, it's very edgy and very spiky, this game.
United will head into this vital clash full of confidence off the back of a 9-match winning run in all competitions, as well as being unbeaten in 11 Premier League games, the club's best run in the top flight since Sir Alex Ferguson's last season in charge. Jose Mourinho appears to have finally found a winning formula, particularly with Phil Jones and Marcos Rojo at the heart of the defence. The pair have started in 9 of United's last 10 league games, conceding just 6 goals and remaining undefeated in those matches. But with Rojo an injury doubt ahead of this game, that successful partnership could be broken.
Rojo and Jones are defenders and footballers second. That makes a big, big difference. United of old, Gary Palace and Steve Bruce, they were defenders, but they could also play the game. And I think that has to be in that order. And I think United have been unsuccessful when they've had footballers at centre-half because they've conceded goals, because a footballer always wants to play.
Jurgen Klopp will hope his side can trouble that defensive duo on his first league visit to Old Trafford, and his record on the road against the teams around them in the table will offer encouragement. Since his arrival at Liverpool, Klopp's team are undefeated in away games against other members of the current top 6. Extending that record could be made more difficult by the absence of Sadio Mane at the Africa Cup of Nations. Only 3 players have won their team more points with their goals than the Senegalese has for Liverpool. But with Mane on international duty, Daniel Sturridge may now have an opportunity to demonstrate his worth.
For him to step in and do a job shouldn't be a problem. I think the only thing that they have that sort of splits them apart, Klopp and Sturridge, is the work rate of Daniel Sturridge. Everything else, he's got everything. He can finish, he can assist, he's skillful, so I don't think there's any box he doesn't tick, apart from that work rate.
Sturridge's international captain Wayne Rooney last weekend equalled Sir Bobby Charlton's record of goals for Manchester United in all competitions. Having already scored more against Liverpool in the Premier League than any United player, Rooney will relish the chance to surpass the legendary Charlton with a goal against their arch-rivals.
He's a legend at United, he's a legend as an England player. He's still got a lot to offer. To get that goal, that special goal for him in United against Liverpool, if it was to come against Liverpool, would mean, the absolute world to him.
If this clash is anything like this season's reverse fixture, Rooney and co may find their chances limited. At Anfield, United recorded their lowest ever possession figure in a Premier League game since such data has been collected, but managed to stifle a previously free-scoring Liverpool side. That was the 9th draw in Premier League meetings between these two, with United winning more than half of all previous encounters. No doubt Mourinho will want his men to be more positive this time, as they seek 3 points against their fiercest rivals.
I will be very surprised if he sits back and waits to see what Liverpool has. At Old Trafford, the fans will not allow that to happen. They will boo within the first 15 minutes if United are looking negative against their biggest rivals in the Premier League. So he'll go for it. He'll have to go for it. The players will demand it and the fans will demand it.
Sam Allardyce returns to West Ham United, still searching for his first win as Crystal Palace manager. The hosts' preparations were dealt a blow with Slaven Bilic revealing that starman Dimitri Payet has expressed a desire to leave the club. Back-to-back losses for the Hammers have seen them drop to 13th. The team is now 10 points worse off than at this stage last season. One positive of West Ham's campaign has been their success in dead ball situations, 14 of their 23 goals coming from set pieces, the second highest amount in the league. Something Slaven Bilic may look to exploit even without Payet, as their opponents have conceded more times from set plays than any other team this term.
The biggest part of West Ham Crystal Palace will be Sam Allardyce and how he can get that defence of Palace organised. He's gone into the job, and the first thing which he normally does, Big Sam, is strengthen the back four. He won't want to concede goals, but under Big Sam, I feel that Palace will stay up.
Former Hammers player James Tompkins is in line to make his first return to East London since his summer transfer and could come up against his old centre-back partner Winston Reid. The New Zealander has been dominant in the air this season, boasting the 6th highest number of headed clearances in the league. Though West Ham edged the head-to-head, Crystal Palace have enjoyed this fixture in recent times, picking up 10 points against their London rivals since their return to the Premier League. In February 2015, the Hammers fell to their 300th Premier League defeat, Scott Dann finding the net in between 2 goals from Glenn Murray.
Andre Gray is playing his part in Burnley's battle to retain their top-flight status, scoring his side's first ever Premier League hat-trick in their final game of 2016 against Sunderland. In his last 3 appearances, he's found the back of the net 4 times, that after a run of 9 Premier League games without a goal. Despite the defeat to Manchester City, this is Burnley's best start to a Premier League season after 20 games, and they're the first newly promoted side since Charlton 16 seasons ago to win 7 of their first 11 home games. Of the 23 points the Clarets have collected, 22 have been won at Turf Moor, a higher percentage of points at home than any other Premier League side. This weekend they welcome a team who've recently struggled defensively. During the busy festive period, Southampton conceded a total of 9 goals, an average of 3 per game. Despite taking the advantage in 2 of those fixtures, Claude Puel's side ultimately came away with nothing and have now lost the most amount of points when leading in the Premier League this season. They may have overcome Liverpool in the first leg of the League Cup semi-final, but the Saints have lost 3 consecutive Premier League games for the first time since December 2014. On the road, it's a similar story, with just 2 league wins this campaign. Trying to overcome a team with one of the best home records this term could be a tough ask. Earlier in the programme, we asked which 2 midfielders scored 20 Premier League goals quicker than Dele Alli. Just ahead of him, it's Matt Le Tissier, who reached the number after 50 appearances. But it's former Tottenham midfielder Rafael van der Vaart who holds the record, scoring 20 after playing just 44 games.
Stoke City travel to the Stadium of Light, hoping their result against Watford last time out can kickstart another run of form after picking up their first win in 6 games. Opponent Sunderland could move out of the relegation zone with a win after 2 Jermaine Defoe penalties rescued a draw against Liverpool, leaving them just 1 point from safety.
They had a spirited draw against Liverpool, you have to say that. That was down to Defoe, so I just don't think they've got enough quality. That's my view. Pickford is a big loss, and the fact they can't, or they're not going to spend big in January, is going to leave Sunderland not just short of good players, but actually short of players.
After losing his place earlier in the season following an injury, Vito Mannone will be required to continue filling in for Sunderland's first-choice goalkeeper Jordan Pickford. They should be in safe hands, though, as Mannone boasts the 3rd highest save percentage of keepers to play at least 20 Premier League games since his Sunderland debut. The Black Cats will certainly need Mannone to be on top form, as Stoke have recorded their highest shooting accuracy at this stage of a Premier League season. Mark Hughes has implemented an attacking style of play for the Potters, which has also seen them score their 2nd highest number of goals after 20 games. The home side have enjoyed this fixture recently, the Black Cats winning the previous 3 meetings at the Stadium of Light. 2 goals in the final 8 minutes secured them the points last season. In the previous campaign, Sunderland scored with each of their shots on target, running out 3-1 winners.
Watford's hope of beginning the new year in better form in the Premier League didn't go to plan last time, as they yet again failed to find the back of the net. With just 6 goals since the start of December, Walter Mazzarri has seen his side tumble down the table from 8th to 14th in that time. Their latest defeat means they recorded just 1 win in 8 league games, picking up 4 points from a possible 24. But they go into this home match with confidence boosted after reaching the 4th round of the FA Cup. A welcome distraction for the home side, with Mazzarri also admitting his team are suffering with injury problems. They take on a side who are also struggling to score goals, but more of a worry is their ability to win the ball. Since the start of the season, Aitor Karanka's team have lost 110 tackles, the highest in the league so far this season. Borough's head coach has praised his side's mentality after they too booked their place in the next round of the FA Cup. But now the team have to transfer that form into the league if they're to move away from any relegation trouble. With just 1 win in their last 6 games, they're hovering just 4 points above the drop zone. An improvement in their away form is also crucial if they're to retain their Premier League status.
This weekend, 2 new faces command a home Premier League dugout for the first time. Marco Silva's Hull face Bournemouth, Paul Clement's Swansea take on Arsenal. Champions Leicester host league leaders Chelsea in the late game. On Sunday, Everton face Manchester City, and old rivals Manchester United and Liverpool go head-to-head. With the second half of the season well underway, the title race is intriguing. Manchester United's unbeaten run sees them in the mix, whilst Arsenal recently dropped out of the top four, but they shouldn't be discounted. Manchester City haven't enjoyed much success this season against the rest of the top six. They're level on points with Tottenham, a young side learning how to deal with pressure. With an average of almost 2.5 goals per game, Liverpool are chasing hard for the top spot, but it's Chelsea who currently have a healthy advantage over the rest of the pack. Until next time, from Dave Farrer, me, John Champion, and the rest of the Match Pack team, it's goodbye.